Welcome back to the channel, folks. Let's dive into the IBC reactivation proposal that's been put up. The Agora text has actually been up for a while. I must have just missed this one, and I don't think many people have covered it. But this one's pretty big, and the proposal itself is up, and it's a client update proposal. And in a sense, from the best description that I can find of this is pretty much you need to see it as a phone line, and the phone line's been cut but not all the way, and someone needs to repair it. And I think this gives them the ability to repair it. So this proposal is about the unfreezing updating of the IBC Tendermint client 07 Tendermint 71, which references the Cosmos hub. Let's go over to the proposal in hand. These white screens, man, is there not a way to? Of course there's not. It's bloody thingy forum. So these forums are used quite widely. It's like a normal format that you can use. They actually use these on quite a lot of games on Steam, actually, when they have discussions about them. So the proposal in itself is being proposed by a guy called, I'm not even going to try and pronounce, but we know that Rex Harrison is also an author on this. Now, re-enabling IBCs is a huge step, because I've explained many times before, the person who turned it all off, literally, it was like them detonating TNT on the way out of a mine and completely closing it for good and not leaving a safe, secure route to get back in, so to speak, or ever activate it. So the summary is, for accepting this proposal, it is proposed to unfreeze the expired IBC Tendermint client, which interconnects to the Cosmos SDK blockchains Columbus 5 and Cosmos Hub 4. The technical background is more or less, you guys can read for yourself. I'm not going to go through, and I'm not going to read it, but I am going to leave a link to this in the description. But I'm going to raise the risks. So there are no significant risks to this proposal being accepted. In the case that this proposal passes and the connection between Terra Classic and the Cosmos Hub get reactivated, there is also no significant risk of diluting the Terra Classic on-chain overall supply. The amount of LUNC trapped on the Cosmos Hub is 30. It's not really a number we need to worry about, is it? 36k. It must be noted that the IBC as a whole may involve risks, as learned from the BSC debacle. Activating the client on Terra Classic may not lead to a functional connection between the chains, because on the Cosmos Hub, the corresponding client might be frozen as well. In such instances, we will need to do a similar proposal on the Cosmos Hub, and the community there might say no. They might say no. I'm guessing that's what they're supposed to say. Reactivating the IBCs across connected chains might have a great marketing effect through signaling that it shows the community makes sensible decisions and takes actions. It also publicizes that IBC on Terra Classic can be enabled, and should the community decide, except for a few cases, for example, osmosis, where the community has to wait for the other core developers to reopen channels, reactivating IBCs could release trapped LUNC, and that's probably because they just don't know how much is really trapped, so to speak. But I would have thought a lot of it's still part of the circulating supply anyway, so it won't matter to us. Reactivating IBCs brings interoperability, meaning that funds on other chains can be used to generate yield from liquidity pools over there. The proposal is open for discussion. Now, like I said, IBCs is a huge step, and it comes with its own security risks, and I don't think they've outlined those, in a sense that it opens up many doors that we just don't know what could happen. LUNC in itself is a system that is kind of up on its feet. It's walking, it's not running, and it's not sprinting. And that's kind of what I want to focus on in this video. Is everybody at the moment's getting in this kind of, they're fed up. But at the same time, if you've been here since May, then you understand better than anybody that here on this channel, we're never going to fill your head with garbage. We're never going to fill your head with bad stuff or lie to you or lead you up a road of, complete clickbait and overcooking things. You're always going to get it straightforward and simple here. And I think that's kind of what sets us aside from all the other kind of YouTubers. And I always will keep it that way. That will never change, regardless of how much revenue the channel's making or not. It will always remain the same, because I believe that you need it straightforward. You need to be told how it is, and you don't need to be lied to. You've been lied to so many times throughout your duration during crypto that you just don't And this is where the lack of trust comes in. I find with like metaverse is really, really huge lack of trust in them because of the amount of them that were supposed to be really good. They end up being nothing, and it's all overcooked, overhyped stuff. But we're going to have times like this, and I always call them stagnation periods. And I've got it on a daily chart at the moment. We are just in this stagnation period of just cruising along, kind of going up, kind of going down, but not really going anywhere. And then it becomes more or less the overall market. It's not doing anything interesting. So then there's not as many people getting involved with stuff. There's not as many people interacting with things. There's not as many people to pass the news on and things like that. What normally happens is something will spark Bitcoin to run. From that, other coins will then start to run and follow suit. And they say the last time there was a bull run, it happened at a time when I never thought it would happen. And I was really like naive back then, but I still understood what a bull run was and how the bull cycle worked. So I think people get a little bit confused and think, coins just run all the time, but it's always down to how you're building, how you're bringing people in, and where you're getting your news out to, and ultimately what is Bitcoin doing. It's always down to because Bitcoin can drag the whole market down regardless of what every other things are doing. We've watched this happen when we were defying Bitcoin's impulse moves down back a couple of months ago, and we was moving up whilst Bitcoin was moving down because we were in such a good position, and we're still in that position. But what it is, people need new things all the time to keep them interested. And my best piece of advice is kind of like my tweet I put out earlier today, is that if you've been hodling since May, people save their whole lives to retire. People, buy houses which take them 3, 4, 5 years to pay off a mortgage, do it up, and they've got all the time for that. And I just don't understand why people lack the kind of patience that's needed for cryptocurrency. But I also do think it stems back to something more along the lines of, let me get this chart correct, starters. It's more along the lines of you need to take a step back, and you need to understand that there is hodling, and there's like this sense of you think you're hodling, but really you're buying and selling your position, and therefore you're losing coins on the way down, right? So during that time, what I tend to do is I'll have my key investment. So at the moment, that's 16 million Lunar Classic coins, okay? And then I keep around 2 million in either Lunar Classic coins at that time or in cash. And I will always, so as it runs up, I'll likely sell that 2 million for cash. And then when it comes back down here somewhere, I'll buy in again, hoping at the chance it's going to run up again a little bit. And then what I do is I play with that, and I take profits using that. And I use that money to learn and try and evolve my skills a little bit better to understand the market. But I think if people took more profits, things would probably be a lot more easier for people to swallow. I think when you start seeing these move downwards and you think, have I invested in the wrong thing? Have I bought into the wrong thing? Oh, I'm worried now, so I might just sell my position. Then your head gets the better of you, sell your position, and it starts to move upwards. So you buy back in again. And then you sit there and say to yourself, I should have just hodled through that and I would have made more money. So always put thought into your trades. Don't just trade because you're emotionally thinking. Trade because you've got facts to go off of. If it's dumping, try and find out why it's dumping. It could just be the fact that, certain people are selling and there's not actually any news that's really positive to maintain that movement upwards. So hopefully in the future, I feel a more direct line of information would be really good. And then also kind of like less of these arguments back and forth in public between developers calling each other out for, I was in a space and someone was calling someone out for like their name and stuff. And I was thinking, God, I'm talking about Lunar Classic. Like, how do we get to this? But, I get it. People get angry, people get upset, and, we're all human, and it's freedom of speech. It's decentralized. You can ask whatever questions you want, and that's totally down to you. And I guess that's the beauty behind it all. But as it stands, IBC's coming back is really the next big step, I think. That figuring out how we're going to fund the devs and walking that kind of route. And then after that, we're hopefully looking to a USTC repeg. And if not a USTC repeg, some kind of other AFT, but hopefully they walk the route of USTC, because it's a whole market in itself that we really do need to help. I myself should be doing more USTC content because they're part of our ecosystem and they just don't get the love and care that they deserve, I think. So possibly more USTC content coming in the future, and really trying to diversify the content on the channel a little bit more. If there's something you do want me to cover here on the channel, just let me know. I feel like the best people to tell me what to cover is probably you guys. I get so many people asking me to cover SHIB, but I feel like there's so many people covering SHIB, but at the same time, I could start providing more, you know, sourceful and resourceful content and a bit more wholesome and truthful. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Guys, don't forget to tap the like on the way out. Tap a little subscription if you haven't subscribed here yet. And consider supporting us, reach more people, get out there and just beware of scammers, beware of doppelgangers, beware of anybody pretending to be me. I'm not going to DM you first or anything like that. You can reach me in our Telegram group and just stay safe. And I'll catch you in the next one.